Okay, so I want to address Stoicism because I think it's very important. And there are many people that use Stoicism as a means of portraying themselves as something. But the root of Stoicism comes from the love of truth. Philosophia is a friend of wisdom or a friend of truth. And how do we engage with truth? Well, I've learned that through negation, through questioning, through investigating, through observing, you become more conscious. It is this conscious awareness that gives us a direct contact with truth. Realizing what we are not allows us to engage with truth in an honest way. What do I mean by that? When we realize that I am not the image that I thought I was, the image of trying to look so victorious, or the image of looking strong, or the image of making a lot of money. These images are not a direct reflection of who we are as awareness. These, in a way, are functionalities. And we can utilize this image in the world to socialize and to connect and to pass knowledge, to exchange a way of living. And we can do this. But there is this confusion in the world right now where image has become number one priority. And we see a lot of people that are selling the image rather than the truth of who we are, beyond the image. So I wanted to talk about a few things because there is a lot of confusion in the world. This is why I'm doing this channel, really, because I feel it's a responsibility, especially when I've become aware of a lot of the delusions and a lot of the things that we are not. And we have a lot of influencers in the world that are selling the idea of coming away from truth to live in a way that just benefits them to make money. And I think there is a big problem here. So there's an influencer known as Andrew Tate. He's becoming a big voice for the youth. And it's dangerous if we are unable to see through his words. I want to share a light and I want to pay attention to some of the things he mentions. He says, win at all costs and to compete. Now, winning at all costs, he will say in his words that it doesn't have to be true as long as you're winning. So he promotes this, he advocates this, he voices this with such an emphasis. And he says, you must win at all costs, even if it's not true. Now, this is completely away from Stoicism. This is completely the opposite to Stoicism. Stoics will never sell themselves for truth. Truth is life. Truth is breathing. Truth is not a disconnection of that. When he says you must win at all costs, even if it's not true, he's saying that create your own delusional reality. If you're making money, then you're winning. And he says that this is the most empowering mentality. I'm saying to you that the shared reality that we are all in is more empowering when you accept the reality that we're all in, that you see the dysfunctions, that you see how we can improve in society. When you see all the things that are hidden and you're not pushing them aside just to win, that you take them on. Now, as a philosopher, philosophers will never push truth to win an argument. Truth will always stand first. And when we push the reality and the dysfunctions in the world and the poverty and the hardships and the corruptions, the exploitations, when we push these things aside just to make our own illusional reality because it suits us to make the most money, this is a delusion because you're separating yourself from the reality that we are all in. And what that does, when you separate yourself from the reality that we are all in, it gives you a false perception of reality. And this is where the perception is connected to the image. Because when you create your own disillusional reality, you become a certain image, a certain idea that makes you money, but is far from the truth. And because it makes you money, you start to believe that that is the truth. And you start to believe that that is the most empowering, because money becomes your ultimate goal. And when we say things like earning is the most important thing, for as long as I am earning, even if it's dysfunctional, I've heard Andrew Tate say this many times, then that means you are able to lie, you're able to manipulate, you're able to step on others to achieve your goal just to win. There is so many problems in this delusional reality, and you are losing yourself in the process, and you are becoming just this fragmentation, just this confusion, just this image that is really heartless and hollow and away from truth. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic, said that it is not that people are evil, it is that they are far from the truth. That means they are ignorant and they don't know any better. So when we create our own delusional reality, we become ignorant, unaware of true reality. Now, true reality is very empowering. When you see the dysfunctions of the world, it should empower you to do something about it. When you are aware of the corruptions and the unjustness that we are in, it can feel difficult, it can feel overwhelming, it can feel scary. You can feel alone, but this is what it is. We must not try and ask for a way out. We must remain with what is. We must find strength with what is. We must find the energy so we can drive our lives. Now, I say this is the most empowering mindset. Think about the slavery of the past. Think about the warriors of the past. Think about Spartacus and all the slaves. When they united and they fought together, they united from a dysfunction and from a place of exploitation, but they found the strength. They didn't run away from it. They didn't try to create their own delusional reality. They accepted what is and they rose. And that's what it takes. We must rise. We must find a way to rise. Stoicism is not about delusion. Stoicism is about honesty. It's about truth. It's about justice and wisdom. It's about temperance and controlling your emotions. By doing this, it does not mean suppressing your emotions. It means understanding the energy behind it, the anger, understanding it and tuning in and using that to improve your life. When we see the chaos in the world and the genocides and the killing of the children, we must use this energy and transmit this to self-improvement, to learning more, gaining more knowledge and more wisdom, understanding truth, understanding we are not these images, tapping into this, the inner world, so it can reflect on the outer world. And when we do this, we give the opportunity for others to rise, for others to be empowered and encouraged by this. But when we just accept what we hear and what we see from Andrew Tate, from a lot of these influencers that look good on the outside, when you see all these selling points, they can make a young man feel that this is a real man. But really, this is not a real man. This is a man who has pushed truth aside just to make money. This is a man that has lied to make it to where he is today. So be aware, catch this and understand this. The opposite to Stoicism and philosophy is sophistry. These guys were known as con artists, as liars, manipulators, people that looked good, people that knew how to speak, but would dictate you, control you, manipulate you, and poison you just to earn and gain a benefit from this. So be aware of the sophists out there and be aware of the truth seekers out there. Distinguish the two and you will understand how to see truth. I wanted to be more clear on Stoicism, truth, self-image, self-projection, so we can acknowledge and empower ourselves as truth seekers. So let's rise together and do not be afraid. We can do this. Peace.